Welcome to the Rotary Club of Edina, the #1 club in the universe. Yeah, baby. My name is Michael Stanzak, and I am humbled and honored to serve as your 67th president. Thank you. We have a very interesting meeting planned today with speakers Gene and Keidy Palusky, creators and founders of XTorch. Thank you all for being here live and in person, and to all of you out there on Zoom. We so appreciate you being here. Our past president, Sam Thompson, received a very interesting email today that I would like to share with you all. Dear immediate past President Sam Thompson, this is Saran Puri, Assistant Governor, Rotary International District 3150 from India. Your Rotary Club of Edina was chartered on August 26, 1957, which is today. 64 years ago, our club was chartered. I would like to extend my warm wishes to you and to all your club members on this joyous moment. Rotary is the only organization which has a global footprint and is working toward happy communities across the world with its noble initiatives. Thanks to your Rotary Club founder, Paul Harris, we were able to make a difference in the communities in which we live. Thanks and best regards, Saran Puri. All the way from India. Isn't that exciting, Whoosh? She noticed, she cared. I think that's great. Our member spotlight today focuses on Hannah Brucker's grandchildren. As you may or may not know, Hannelore has an extensive collection of harmonicas, and she gave 2 of them to her grandchildren, Liam and Selena, and they are playing the Coronavirus Blues. Bear with me.
Done.
Our next member spotlight is Mark Stageberg, who got a hole-in-one at the Wilderness in Fortune Bay. And yes, for those of you who are counting, that's our 3rd Rotarian in a week that's had a hole-in-one. Let's not forget Joe Ahrens at Minnesota Valley. Let's not forget Toshi Metzger at Bluff Creek. And then Mark Stageberg. Who knows, you might be the next one. Our big news today is the scholarship drawing giveaway, or as I would say, it's an all-expense-paid trip to the Rotary Conference coming up in Houston. And this is made possible by our generous Rotarian, Dr. Sita Dash. Is he here? Is Dr. Dash here? I thought he was here. At any rate, he made a significant contribution to the Rotary Zone Conference in Houston. And he, along with Tom Gump, arranged for one of our Rotarians to be able to have an all-expense-paid trip to this conference. Who knows, Ryan, maybe it's you. So, without any further ado, I'm going to draw the name out of the lucky Rotarian that gets to go. Again, this is all-expense-paid, Shelly. All you have to do is show up and participate. Okay, are we ready? Do we have a drum roll? The lucky Rotarian is Jody Kern. Congratulations, Jody.
I want Rob Redding to go. He's leading our leadership series, and I think that this trip would be amazing for him. So I'm donating my win to Rob.
Rob Redding!
Let's hear it for Rob Redding. You know, as I go through this journey as being our club presidents, I'm amazed at what I know and what I don't know. Look at John looking over there laughing at me. And I was talking to a fellow Rotarian the other day about Camp Enterprise, and she said, well, really, Michael? You mean other kids outside of Edina are going to Camp Enterprise? Yes. Camp Enterprise has existed since 1970. It's for high school juniors and seniors. It's a 2.5-day entrepreneurial workshop. And it's taking place on November 4th through the 6th at Camp Hoppy. And thanks to John and Kip Peterson that were out there looking for volunteers to sign up. I just wanted to take a moment and talk about how it's incumbent on all of us to ask potential high school juniors and seniors if they would like to go. Now, where's Gordy Lewis? Gordy, do you have any high school juniors or seniors in your house?
Oh,
Lots of them. The point being is that we might not have anybody, but we have neighbors, we have friends through churches or whatever. Please have your elevator speech ready and encourage high school juniors and seniors to consider going. You know, it takes a little persuasion for them to think about going for 2.5 days. You know, I'm giving up 2.5 days of my life. But once they go, they become like apostles, and it's a wonderful event. So, without any further ado, let me show you the video that was made 2 years ago to talk about Camp Enterprise.
100 high school students just wrapped up a 3-day business camp. Camp Enterprise offers students from Minnesota and western Wisconsin a chance to develop entrepreneurial skills. WCCO's Jennifer Merrily found out how the camp prepares teenagers for the future.
Strengths are it's a new technology.
At Camp Hoppy in Loretto, these students are working together to develop a business plan.
So we're creating a plan to pitch to venture capitalists to hopefully earn $5 million to start up the company.
It's a mock company, but the lessons are real.
Team building, like teamwork, planning out, brainstorming, and problem solving, I think, too, and like thinking about other options and like thinking outside the box.
That's part of the goal behind Camp Enterprise. The annual 3-day camp is designed to teach students entrepreneurial skills, learn about leadership and business ethics.
We're very passionate about kids and helping them and giving back to the community. So it's our belief that if we can prepare these kids to enter the world thinking bigger and having a business background, that there's a lot of transferable concept in that.
Where do you think?
Roughly 80 Rotarians from around the state volunteer their time, and business leaders in the community serve as mentors.
The kids pull it together, and that's what's so much fun is to watch them, the anxiety and anxiousness that they have going into it. But when they perform and when they're done, both the relief and the sense of accomplishment is very rewarding.
In the end, it's all about the students, arming them with new tools to build on and maybe even inspire becoming an entrepreneur.
Because I want to start a business, possibly with my friend. He's also from Rogers, and so we both want to create something and want to not sit behind a desk, create a company for ourselves.
Each year, 5 students are selected to receive a $1,000 scholarship. Applications for next year's Camp Enterprise open in May. We have more information at wcco.com/links. At Camp Hoppy in Loretto, Jennifer Merrily, WCCO 4 News.
Camp Enterprise is in its 39th year. It's sponsored by the Edina and Edina Morningside Rotary Clubs.
Thank you, John Flynn, Jody, Kern, Kip Peterson, and all the many people that have volunteered, and especially Rob Redding, who has agreed to be our chair for Camp Enterprise next year. I mean, it takes a whole village to put Camp Enterprise on, so thank you. Much appreciated. Our birthdays. Kip just celebrated his birthday. Frank Carterell. I bet you got an exciting one coming up, Frank. Way to go. Not only then John Barnett and Reverend Tom Cook will be celebrating his birthday as well. It takes a village to put on a meeting. Thank you, Raj Kumar and Mike Martini, for being our greeters. Thank you, Julie Westbrook and Becky, for manning the front desk. Thank you, Ryan Wilson, for doing our AV support. Thank you, Sylvester, for leading us in the Invocation, Pledge of Allegiance, and 4-way test. Mike Eckert, thank you for introducing the guests. Shelly Loberg, thank you for introducing our speakers. Jennifer Shinners, thank you for thanking our speakers. And Jennifer Benarott, thanks for taking pictures. Please rise for the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance, and four-way test.
Dear God of the heaven and the earth and all that there is, we are so thankful for all the blessings you bestowed upon us and our families. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve each other in our communities and around the world. Always keep us mindful of service above self, and that we all need to work together as a team, and that we can accomplish so much more together and achieve amazing success. Help us to understand that no matter what name is given and in what language it is expressed, that the philosophy called the Golden Rule is indeed the most true guidepost by which we should all look forward to. We pray that you continue to bless the work that we as Rotarians do to help those in need or are less fortunate. Although the world we live in today is changing every day, and at times we feel that we cannot keep up, we know that in the end, you will have the final say. In absence of faith, there is hope. I ask you to bless this food for the nourishment of our bodies. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Of all the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Good afternoon, all, and welcome to all of you here today. We've got three guests. Chris Mazer has a guest. Chris?
I would like to introduce you to my number one son, Christopher Amundsen.
Welcome. And of course, Sylvester Thomas brought a guest to listen to his invocation.
I'd like to introduce you to my middle daughter, Bryce Thomas. She's a project manager at Ford Motor Credit Corp in Dearborn, Michigan. I was going to say Mississippi. In Michigan.
Welcome. And Catherine Gump has a guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce my good friend Andrew Gump, who's going to be a senior in high school?
Sophomore.
Oh yeah, sophomore. He's dying to go to Camp E, but he is going to join Interact this year, so we're looking forward to him being part of Rotary.
Welcome. Thank you, Catherine. And we have a visiting Rotarian, Irene Kelly from Eden Prairie AM.
You know her, she was district governor 3 years after me, I believe, and she's an Eden Prairie Rotarian, and she drove all the way to Lakeville to pick me up, so you could blame her for being literally. So.
Well, thank you all for attending this meeting.
As many of you know, on Saturday, September 11th, we have the car show. And we have a great video that Josh just whipped up, put together. But a special thanks to Grandview Tire and Auto, Tradition Mortgage, Styles Financial Services, and Lake Sotheby's, because again, the sponsorship money goes to our gala, which goes to our foundation, which we give away. So this is great fun. Thanks to Josh and Chris. And the disclaimer is this Saturday is not September 11th.
Hey everybody, Josh Sprague back here with some more information on the 2021 Edina Car Show. Go to edinacarshow.com for more information. But just today, I want to tell you, it's from 12 to 4 p.m., Saturday, September 11th. We're going to have about 100 to 150 classic, exotic, and vintage cars. So many cool things, and guess what? If you're a spectator, it's completely free. And what you're going to see are some absolutely amazing vehicles just like this. Check it out. Wow! What do you know? Hey! What a surprise! I'm here doing a spot on the Edina Car Show.
You don't say. Well, this is Louise. She's going to be here. This is a 76 Eldorado that I went to Greensboro, North Carolina to get. She's named Louise after my grandmother, who was born in North Carolina, as was I, and the car was in North Carolina. And she's not nobility like Thelma, but she is still really fun, and she was in the Edina 4th of July parade. But that brings us to the Edina Car Show that's happening this coming Saturday, September 11th, right here in Herberger's parking lot from 12 to 4. Please bring your family, please bring your children, grandchildren, and more importantly, if by chance you happen to have a car that's over 20 years old, or a really cool car like Josh Sprague with his Aston Martin, consider bringing that. Anyway, it'll be great fun. It benefits the Rotary Club of Edina and our foundation, and we give the proceeds away.
Edina Rotary Foundation doing good since 1957, and a special shout out to our corporate sponsors, Styles Financial Services, Key Cadillac and Lake Sotheby's, of course, Grandview Tire and Auto, and Tradition Mortgage. We appreciate your support. Hope to see you all on Saturday, September 11th.
And if you're Rotarian, wear a blue shirt, a blue Rotary shirt. Be well, everyone. I don't know, it makes me smile. Josh just whipped that stuff out. He's amazing. Chris, thank you so much for putting the video together. Well, the weekend after September 11th is September 18th. I know, and that's the Alzheimer's Walk at Target. And 2 years ago, we had a number of our Rotarians who participated in that. So once again, as a social event, we're gathering to walk. Yes, we are. I see you out there. Jack Hennefeld. Mike Hagan. Anyway, consider signing up to walk in the Alzheimer's Walk. There's a link on our club webpage to sign up to walk. So, as many of you hopefully have gotten your invitation in the mail for the Rotary Gala, Jody Kern would like to say a few words.
How many of you want to be on the decorations committee? Raise your hands. Everybody raise your hand. So this year, we thought instead of having a silent auction, we would have something that I'm calling a reverse silent auction. That's where we bring things instead of buying things. And what we want to do is support my very own bed. And the way we want to do that is with brand new stuffed animals. So in the interest of keeping the budget focused on how we're going to make money for the foundation, we don't want to spend a lot of money on decorations. So we want to use your brand new stuffed animals. So when you come to the event, please bring a stuffed animal. We'll put them on the tables, we might have them on the stage, we might have them on the dance floor. It's going to be a huge dance party, so please consider that. I don't think they can be too big because they got to go on my very own bed. So I suggested I would go to Costco and buy that big, huge teddy bear, but I was shut down. Now, the most important announcement is that September 2nd is when early bird registration ends. So if you have not registered yet, if you're not part of a sponsor, please make sure that you get your registration in on the website so that we can count you in on October 2nd. And we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Kayla. So at Becky Mikalski's request, another video so I talk less. Thank you, Becky. dance with us on Saturday, October 2nd. We Rotarians know how to have fun. We really do. So Shelly Loberg is the Vice President of the Edina Chamber of Commerce and Explore Edina. She has a BA in Communications from the University of Minnesota Duluth and has over 10 years of nonprofit management and marketing experience. Shelly served as International Director for 3 years in our club board, currently serves as Treasurer of our club and foundation boards, and is very passionate about our club's international projects. She has traveled to Guatemala twice and is presently executing a global grant for a maternal and child health project in Zimbabwe. She is a single mom of 2 sons, Dane and Evan, and her personal passions are travel and languages, food, wine, fitness, and yoga. She's a blast to go to Guatemala with and spend 5 hours in the van. I know personally. Please welcome my dear friend and fellow Rotarian, Shelly Loberg.
And obviously we know how to have a good time at the Chamber Gala. That's where that video footage was taken. No comment on my dance skills in that footage. It's my distinct pleasure to be here today to introduce our guest speakers. I actually caught a little segment on KARE 11 about a year ago about Gene and Keidy and their company and their product called XTorch. And I was with my mom and I said, Mom, I have to get these people to come talk at my Rotary Club. They're doing amazing things around the world that fits in and aligns with Rotary's mission. Gene and Keidy are from here in Edina, so they are a local family. They are the founders and creators of the XTorch, which is a solar-powered device that can be used as a flashlight, a lantern. It can also charge a cell phone, and it is completely, you can plug it in to charge it, but you can also charge it out in the sunlight. Keidy grew up in the Dominican Republic and experienced firsthand power outages and what we call energy poor society, and they've made it their life passion to fill in those gaps, and they work with nonprofits to distribute this amazing product. They spent several years developing it, and it is a family business. Gene's mom and their children are both involved in the execution of the business. It's estimated that it can save a customer about $2,000 in batteries and waste that would likely end up in a landfill. But it's also handy to have in any household. My older son has one. He's an outdoorsman, so he takes it with him when he's going deer hunting or when he's going ice fishing, so it's a handy flashlight for your home or for when you're in the outdoors. So far they've donated 100% of all of their profits and recently donated 2,000 devices that went to Haiti and the Colombia-Venezuelan border. I'm super excited to for you guys to hear their message today. They're an amazing couple, and without any further delay, I'm going to invite Gene and Keidy to come up and tell you about XTorch.
Well, good afternoon. It's an honor to be here. We've met a bunch of people and everyone seems to be so gracious. We feel pretty comfortable, so it's nice to be here. And
hi, my name is Keidy and I'm very pleased to be here as well. Thank you for the invitation.
And we're the makers of the XTorch. This is the XTorch right here. And I think there's a video that's going to keep us from talking so much and tell you a little bit about us.
An Edina couple is helping bring reliable light and power to families in developing countries. They created XTorch, a solar-powered, rechargeable device. And as Heidi Wigdahl shows us, it is much more than a flashlight.
All over the world, light and power are at people's fingertips thanks to XTorch. It's a device that's being used by families in over 30 countries. That started as a bright idea in Edina.
I'm from the Dominican Republic, and we also did mission work in Equatorial Guinea, in Africa. So we saw a common link, and it was the lack of electricity and lack of power in developing countries.
Keidy Laura Palusky and Gene Palusky spent several years developing XTorch.
We are a two-people business, right?
And my mother.
Oh yeah, and our children.
And our
we have 2 children. And
they're
so
all quality control.
Yes.
Yeah.
XTorch has 4 functions. It's a flashlight, a lantern you can hang from above or on a table.
Under this USB cover right here, you pop that open like this.
It's also a cell phone charger. You can charge it in the sun or plug it into a wall outlet, and it charges in about an hour.
You can run the side light here to up to 48 hours. So it's really good for not only solar charging, but also house charging, and then having it with you when the power does go out.
Gene says the XTorch can last about 7 to 10 years, saving a customer about $2,000 in batteries. From power outages to camping trips, it can light the way. But the heart of Keidy and Gene's work is in bringing reliable light and power to some of the most remote places. They donate at least 25% of profits to disaster relief organizations.
And so far, we've donated 100% of all of our profits in the whole duration of our business. It's so exciting because you get these pictures back of these kids holding these lights in these very, very poor environments, and they're reading. It's a wonderful thing.
It's also helped survivors of Hurricane Maria.
Weeks later, we get an email from this random person saying, "Thank you so much for the XTorch. There was blackout for weeks, and I got this XTorch. I could charge it in the sun, and I could charge my cell phone to get in touch with my family that was worried about me." And we were like, yes,
That's what we want to hear.
And the more people who buy XTorch, the more Keidy and Gene can donate.
We are, little by little, making a difference in the world.
Putting the power in people's hands. Heidi Wigdahl, KARE 11 News.
There we go. That's us. Good. Thank you. Kind of gives you a little bit of idea of what we do and why we do it. And Keidy can tell you a little bit about herself, and I'll tell you a little bit about me.
Yeah, well, I think after you watch the video, we don't have to say anything else. But yes, I grew up in the Dominican Republic, so I know what it is to live in the dark. I know what it is to not have electricity at night, and it's very depressing. When it's pitch dark, and you're with a little candle, is not a good picture. And so growing up, I experienced that all the time. Then Gene came along, we met in the Dominican Republic. It's a very cute story, but I'm not going to go into details, but it was love at first sight.
Yeah, it was.
And so we had the opportunity to travel to Equatorial Guinea, and we also saw, like I said in the video, it was a common link. There was a lot of blackouts and a lot of darkness. And so, what happened?
What happened? When the blackouts occurred? Well, usually, like in one case, Keidy was very sick and she needed some medication, and the doctor said, okay, we don't know what's wrong with her. She's probably not going to survive unless she takes this medication. We're in the middle of Africa, you got to imagine, and the lights are out, the doctors went away, and they gave me this big pile of pills. And they said, you need to give these pills to Keidy at a certain time during the night, like at 2 or 3 or 4, and I got this little tiny pink flashlight, the type that you get at Walmart, and I'm banging it on the wall, and it's turning off, and it's turning off, and then it's turning back on, and so finally I ended up lighting a candle and ended up giving the medication, and she survived, and it was all okay. But those are the type of experiences that we have gone through where the light bulb goes off and says, hey, one of the most important things is light, and without light, you're so limited in what you can do. The kids can't study at night, people can't run their businesses, kids don't feel safe, families can't have any social time in the evening. So when we got back, we figured we should make a flashlight that's solar powered, that's strong enough to throw against the wall 25 times, that could be run over by a camel and will still work. So we came up with the XTorch. And I'm from northern Minnesota. I'm an Iron Ranger, born and bred, and I came down here and I went to McAllister College, and then I went to graduate school in fine arts and taught that at a university for a while. And then I thought, I'm so tired of being poor. Because that's what happens with artists, right? They work somewhere else. So I started a real estate company and ended up getting a portfolio of apartment buildings, and then ended up selling those, working with my brother down in Georgia, Keidy and I did, and we made solar-powered devices about 15 years ago for teaching, for gospel, and for education around the world, like audio players and video players that had with big screens and all that. And then we came up here and we said, well, we should sell the portfolio so we could do something else. And while we're up here, we just decided, yeah, it's time to make the XTorch, and that was like 6 years ago, right?
Yes,
so
about 6 years ago.
Here we are.
Yes, and so one of the things, like Gene mentioned, it needed to be something that will endure a lot of things. So it couldn't be something that had like different parts. It had to be something that it could be thrown, could be in the water, because if you have travel, you know that people sometimes live in conditions that are not optimal. So you need something that is reliable, because they can't call us and say, hey, it's not working. Oh, sure, I'm gonna send it tomorrow, right? So it has to be something that works and that is dependable and reliable. And the main focus for us to develop this was because, as Shelly said, there's a lot of energy poverty. And usually kids are very affected by this. If they can't study, then you repeat that cycle of poverty and not having a good education. So we like to put these XTorches in the hands of children and families, because they are the ones that will benefit the most. Also, it's great for businesses, because you know that even the poorest of the poor have a cell phone, right? It's our main way of communicate. So sometimes we've seen that they don't have electricity to charge their cell phone. So how can they communicate? So we also put a little here that you can charge with a little cable, and then your cell phone, you just charge it and it will work. So there was a lot of thinking and a lot of planning to develop a product that will work all the time.
And we wanted to make it very intuitive, because most of the people who initially got this, they're illiterate. So you can't give instructions. This goes in the hands of people literally who don't know how to use a doorknob. We have a mission, my brother has a mission down in Amazon, and he brought a bunch of those people in for a little workshop, a medical workshop. They got them in there, and they went into the bathroom, and they said, well, what's this bathroom? And they showed them how to use the toilet and all that, but they got stuck in the bathroom because they couldn't figure out how to use the doorknob. It was just so far from their experience. And then they get something like this, and we've sent out thousands and thousands of these all around the world, and you've got to figure, people look at this and they don't understand it. So we figured if they can push the button, then they say, oh, well, you push the button like that, and you push it again, and it lights your room. And you push it again, and you put it on a table, and you can read. And then people who have cell phones, they always have to charge their cell phones. They know what a cable is, a USB cable. So we have a USB cable in here. You plug it in there, and they can charge their cell phones, which is typically costs them like 25 cents a day to do that. But when you're making $1.50 a day, that's a big chunk of income. Or they're taking a lot of their money and spending on kerosene, which is carcinogenic and really bad for kids, for lighting, and they don't have to do that with this. They simply put this on their roof or in their backyard, and the solar panel charges, and if it charges for 8 hours, it probably runs for 10 hours, and then they have light. And then, of course, it's really tough out there. I mean, it's not like they don't have the nice tables and the chairs, and they live in really rough environments, and so we needed to make this tough enough so you could throw it down the street, or you could leave it outside for a year and it would continue to work, because as Keidy says, they can't send it back. So that's how we came up with the design.
Yeah, and so when we also started, our original plan was to sell it to NGOs. So we contacted them, and then we realized that they also needed the money. So we didn't want to take their money away in order for them to buy our product to give away. So we did was to change our business model. And so what we do, we sell domestically, and then we donate internationally. And we like to donate especially to small organizations. We have worked with big organizations like Compassion International, Bethany Christian Services, but we also have worked with small organizations in Guatemala, in Uganda, because the way it works is that they come to our house. Oops. Oh, that's our family. Oh, yeah, that's it. And so usually these small organizations contact us by email or Facebook or whatever means, and then they say, oh, we're going to Tanzania next month, and we're going with a group. Can you donate some to us? And so we said, sure. So they come, we give them 10, 20, and they can bring them in their backpacks. And the best part is that there's no middleman. They give it to the person in need. They're not giving it to somebody that will resell it. They're not giving it to somebody that will put it in their house and not giving it away. It's an instant effect. It's that's the part that we like the most. When we work with small organizations, that's our experience, that the XTorch can get into the hands that people that really need it.
And of course, as many of you people know, starting a business is never an easy process. It takes a long time. So we've been working on this for 5 or 6 years. And we started and we would sell 2 and we would jump up and down. We get really excited, like, oh, we got 2 out the door. Of course, we have 5,000 in the basement. We got 2 out, and then it was like 3, and then it was like 4, and then people start being interested in the story, the fact that we're giving everything away. And well, how can you do that? It's because we don't need the money, because we have the income from the real estate, right? So after a while, people started having articles on us again. We were in the paper, and then our sales would go way up, and then they would go down, way down, and then we'd say, well, what are we going to do for the rest of the year? And then it was like a God thing. I mean, it just kept coming back, and people becoming more and more interested in it. And the more interested in it, the more we would sell, and the more we'd sell, the more we'd give away. And then one day, Keidy said, hey, have you ever heard of Shark Tank? Well, what happened?
Well, many people, whenever we talked about the XTorch, people always say, oh, guys, you should go to Shark Tank. But, that was something that when you see Shark Tank and you see people there, and you think, oh, I would like to go there, but it's impossible, right? So many people told us he was not into that at all.
Oh no, that's not me. I'm not in front of the guy. I mean, speaking in front of people. Short little story, because I know we got to go pretty soon. So we're driving in Northeast Minneapolis, and so we're driving in North Minneapolis, and Keidy said, yeah, we should do this. And I'm saying, no, let's not. And we go there, and we're driving around, and it's cold, and it's gray, and it's in like this little restaurant.
You skip a part. That's the audition.
That's the audition, right? Yeah, okay. And so we couldn't find it. So like 2 seconds before we finally found the place, I said, we're going home. And I started driving home, and then we went past this little restaurant and it said, Shark Tank auditions. Literally, I mean, that was the key right there. So we parked around the corner, and we was like, really nervous, because I kind of get nervous talking in front of people. And we stood in front of this guy at the interview, and he was just really laid back, and he was personable, and we said what we wanted to say, and we said, okay, we're done, that's enough, nothing's going to happen. And then they called us back.
Yeah, they called us back, and 40,000 people applied to be in that show. And so they always said, okay, you're not guaranteed the next step. So, but if we call you, then you can move to the next one. And so they did. They called us. We had to send a video of us. We had to send a lot of paperwork. We had to sign a lot of papers. And then the pandemic came along, like all of you know. So that changed everything. They even had to change the location, because usually they film in California, but they moved everything to Las Vegas. And of course, all this time, whenever we met with them, they will say, well, thank you very much, but if you pass to the next step, then we'll let you know. So we could never get excited about it, because it was always like, don't get excited. But finally, they say, okay, you're gonna travel to Las Vegas, and we had to quarantine for 10 days.
In a hotel room.
With this guy for 10 days.
All alone. I mean, they would come to the door with the food, knock on the door, put the food down in front of the door, they would back up, and we would go to the door with the mask, and then we would be stuck together.
For 10
No
days.
windows, no one else to scream at for 10 days. And of course, not only was it a delightful time in our marriage, but also you got to figure, you're going to stand in front of the sharks, and they're going to eat you up, which is probably what happened. But you have 9 days to think about it. So you're presenting yourself, you're presenting in front of the mirror, and you're going back and forth, and you're thinking, what am I going to do wrong? And the stress level just goes up like this. So by the time you find, they kind of knock on the door and say, it's time to come down and see the sharks. When that happens, there's almost nothing left. I mean, you're completely worn out, and COVID just made it so much more difficult. But what happened?
So we went down, and we did our presentation, and like Jean said, They ate us up.
They did. They were pretty
It
tough.
was an experience like no other. Of course, you know, it's a reality show. They want entertainment. They want drama. They want, because otherwise nobody will want to watch it, right? And so, and you know, they had, I don't know, maybe some of you haven't seen it, so I'm not going to tell you what happened. But, or should I?
Sure, yeah, tell them what happened.
Okay, so
yeah.
what happened was we were asking $150,000 for 10% equity on our business. And so they all loved the product, and they were all playing with it, and yeah, it's tough and whatever, but they were not impressed with our sales, which to us, we were selling a lot. But they were also like, you guys are donating everything. What kind of business is that?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? That's not how you run a business. You guys don't really look like entrepreneurs to us.
And so, but we said, well, we need a partner because we want to scale, we want to sell more, so we can donate more. But one of the sharks, his name is Robert, he said, I want to buy the whole company. And we were like, what? I couldn't believe it when he said it.
Because that almost never happens, ever.
Yeah. And so, of course, we said no, because we weren't there to sell our company. And some people email us after the show saying, you guys are nuts. How come you didn't sell our company?
A lot of people emailed us and told us we were nuts. And we really didn't argue that point.
But I will say, after you put a lot of effort into something, it's not as easy as say, oh, sure, take it. You know, people, if you work really hard at something, in my opinion, you're not just gonna give it away. We want to see it succeed. We want to help people. That's our main focus. For them, our business model maybe is not as enticing, but to us it makes sense because we have experienced that. And also we thought that some of them do a kind of like, they give back to their community. So we thought that our mission was going to be enticing, or they was going to call their attention, but apparently it didn't.
And certainly one of the main reasons we decided not to sell the company, and the deal was I was standing here and Keidy was standing here, and they said, well, $500,000 for your company. Well, I mean, what do you do if you're not ready for that? It's just a tremendous shock. And I thought, okay, there's nothing left. I'm gone. I just want to go home. And I was going to say, sure. So I turned to Keidy and said, well, what do you think? She said, absolutely not. And so I turned to the sharks and I said, no, that's not going to happen. We'll sell it for what, $1 million? Is that what we said?
Yes.
And they all looked at us and they had their own personal comments, which were not too kind. And they said, no, that's craziness. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, but we said $1 million because we knew they were going to say no.
And the deal was that the real deal was that we didn't know what they were going to do with the donation. Their aspect of what this is. I mean, this is a mission for us. It's in our heart. It's our history. It's what we want to do, and it's what I want to do for the next 10 years at least. So if we would have given it to them, they probably would have dumbed it down, put it in Walmart, and sold millions of these and done very well. But the mission would have disappeared, and there would have been no reason for all the effort that we had put into this. So that's the end. That's how the story ended up. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you have a question?
No, questions will be great right now.
Sure. And we need to repeat the question so it can be heard on the camera.
Well, the solar technology is advancing, getting better. Is the Model 10 better than the Model 1? Are you improving the gizmo? And then are there other, will you have a XTorch coffee pot, or what is next?
Those are great questions. One is, what are our future plans? The other is, are we keeping up with technology? This is version number 7 right here. I have version number 8 sitting on my desk, which is being manufactured as we speak. We work with the highest quality solar panel that we can get, but it needs to fit within a certain amount of cost. So we could get a panel that will give us 23%, and it'll cost us another $10 for this, but people aren't going to buy it for that. So we're stuck at about 18 or 19%, which is about twice as much as most solar panels that you'll buy in a device if you go down to the hardware store. And the rest of it is, yeah, we changed the type of battery in here, the electronics. I could go on for months about the technology in here. For one thing, and I'll just really short, is that when you turn the light on like this, it shines like that. This is actually turning on and off 30 times a second, but you don't see it. So it's called chopping. And that way it can run so much longer and produce so much more bright light, but your eye is not registering that it's turning on and off. So it's not just a little tiny goofy device that has a battery in it and a button. There's a lot of technology that goes into it. Yes?
How much does it cost, or what? We're gonna get one.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get one now because we're completely sold out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that after the Shark Tank
It's
episode
gone.
aired, we sold out in less than 24 hours. We were like completely, because you know, after we were kind of, after the experience, we said, oh, first of all, they're probably not gonna air it because you're not guaranteed that it's gonna be aired, even if you film it, right? So they called us 3 weeks before, you're gonna be on TV, we're super excited, we got ready, and then we said, maybe nobody will want it, you know? Whoa, my goodness, we were in that basement packing things like crazy. And so it cost $49.95, but in pre-orders, we're selling it $39.95. So that's the price.
Is it on your website?
Yes, in our website
Yeah,
is xtorch.org. And I know that he had a question.
You have a great story, and you
Oh,
both
thank you.
tell it with style, and I appreciate that a lot.
Thanks.
I'd like to ask you a question about the technology a little bit, not to disclose anything proprietary, but I'm interested in what kind of battery or storage this device has that allows it to capture all this, seems to me like a lot of power, and retain it for quite a long time.
Well, it is about a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, lithium ion. And it used to be lithium ion phosphate, which is what in this is. So we did lithium ion phosphate because you can take this and you can stick it in your drawer. We have actually one in the basement that's been there for 4 years. I take it out of the box every once in a while, turn it on, it still works. So when the power goes out at home, you usually look in your drawer and you pull out the flashlight and you smack it against the wall. It doesn't work because the battery's completely run out, even if it's a rechargeable lithium ion. But we changed from lithium ion phosphate, which is the international model, just to the lithium ion because it's much more dense, as you might know. So the next one that we have, the next model, is going to be bigger battery, and it will cost us less because most people in the United States don't stick them in their drawer for 3 years. It'll run for about 2 years. And we have super high efficiency between the solar panel and the battery, so it doesn't discharge and it lasts a long time. I hope that helps.
Okay, the gentleman over there.
Where do you manufacture it?
In China right now. And we have been looking, in fact, we're going to be speaking with a company here in the United States we're going to try to figure out some way to make it here. But unfortunately, and as all of you know, all of the parts, the electronics, the solar panels, everything's in China, which is so frustrating because I spent months looking for people who could do this here, but no one can do it here. So we're still on it.
Yeah, the lady here.
So I'm curious, what was your background to develop this? Like, I could never have come up with this. So
I
what
bet
was
you
your
could.
background?
I was an artist.
Yeah, repeat again.
Oh, I'm
What
sorry.
is your background?
What is my background? I went to fine arts. I have an MFA in fine arts. I taught at Metro State University for a while. I have a design background, as I said. Then I went into real estate. And then somewhere along the line after I married this one, we went to Georgia, where I worked with my brother, who is an electrical engineer from Georgia State, and we started developing solar power technology. And little by little, in my dense little brain, I started figuring out what a volt is, what a battery is, what an LED is, what a resistor is. And I kind of learned all about manufacturing, supply chain, and that was 15 years ago. So I'm still kind of a hack, but I have a lot of good people around me who can straighten me out when I'm mistaken, but I have a lot of imagination too. Okay.
Okay. Oh, let's see. I think this gentleman over there.
Yes, sir.
So how many of these do you manufacture in a year, and kind of what's your structure? I mean, how many people do you have working? Is it just you and your kids, or?
Yes.
Yep.
Good question.
The question is, what's the structure of the company and how many do we produce? This year we have I just ordered 15,000 of these, And typically we order about 5,000 at a time, but because we have already sold about 6,000 or 7,000 pre-orders, we figure that that will get us through the next phase. The difficult part is that there's a lack in chips and electronics in the United States or in the world right now. So they came up to us right after Shark Tank and said, well, send us 10,000 more because we have 10,000 sales. And they said, nah, not gonna happen. I'm gonna have to redesign the whole board and the electronics inside around a new chip, because the chips that we were using, they discontinued, and so we developed a new product, a new device, new technology within 5 months, and we should get the big shipment in about 2 months from now, if that makes sense. And it's just us.
Us and my children and his mom.
That's right.
So our club, most recent thing is there was a group here, the morning club, that went to Guatemala.
Oh yeah.
So if we wanted to get a bunch of these to send with them, they do water projects, all sorts of different things. How would we do that?
Well, you can talk to Shelly. or you can talk to us directly. He's asking about if the Rotary would like to have a project, what can he do? And he can contact us, or he can talk to Shelly, because Shelly has our contact info. I don't know if we have time for one more question.
What do you have any free time November 4th through 6th? Could you come and please speak at our Camp Enterprise presentation?
Okay. Well, we can talk about.
We can talk about that. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know about you guys, but Jean, I don't think you're nervous speaking in front of people. Did you get that?
I'm shaking, but thank you.
No. Jean and Keidy, thank you so much for speaking with us and telling us your story and your passion. It was super fun hearing about it, and I'm going to get on your website and order like 4 right now when I get home. So this is amazing.
Thank you.
Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers who see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. From literacy and peace to water and health, Rotarians are always working to better our world. We stay committed to the end. In honor of your presentation, we will be making a donation to My Very Own Bed, a local nonprofit that provides new beds to children moving into stable housing. My Very Own Bed gives a new bed, a set of sheets, pillow, blanket, mattress pad, and even stuffed animal, with books to children who might otherwise go without. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks.
You guys were delightful. Thank you so much for developing something that can withstand being crushed by a camel. I think that's pretty impressive. So our Rotary International President, Shakay Mator's theme this year, John Flynn, is Serve to Change Lives. And we can do that by re-engaging with our club, re-engaging with the Rotary Club. So call to action, something that's new that you might not be aware of is we have a Veep packed food bag opportunities on Wednesday, September 15th to Wednesday, September 29th. It's about an hour and a half. I know Jody has done that. What you're doing is you're packing bags at Veep Food Shelf in Bloomington for children that necessarily wouldn't have something to eat over the weekend. So that's an opportunity. The other opportunity is we can all bring our stuffed animals to decorate for the gala. Plus there's other needs. Talk to Jody or Kayla or Paul. And then the last thing, and again, thank you for all of you that signed up for Camp E out there. I mean, there were like treat sponsors and essay readers and things like that. Again, that's coming up, and you can certainly reach out to Rob Redding and Kip Peterson, and they will plug you in. Again, it takes a lot of people to put it on. So, to infinity and beyond, what do we have to look forward to? Wednesday, September 1, we have a vocational happy hour at CW's in Bloomington, where our very own Jane Ellingson Solheim, or Jane Ersman Ellingson Solheim, and her brother are going to talk about their CPA firm. A week from today, we have Sri Zahir. He is the Dean of the Carlson School of Management. We have our leadership series on goal achievement on Wednesday, September 8th at 7:30 at Think Bank Community Room. On September 9th, Josh Bragg is going to bring us an update, and Jennifer Hendrickson and Shelly Loberg, and what happened on our trip to Guatemala. We have the annual car show. Again, all you have to do is show up. It doesn't cost anything. Look at cool cars. It'll be fun. That's September 11th. The 15th and the 29th, I talked about that. The 18th is the walk in Alzheimer's at Target Field, and then our gala. And again, all the money we raise, we give away at the gala, and then we have Camp Enterprise coming up right around the corner, November 4th to 6th. So plenty of opportunities to plug in. As Estee Lauder said, I never dreamed about success, I worked for it. Meeting adjourned.